Hello and welcome to another edition of the Lanzarote News and Weather. I'm Mike CJ from Lanzarote Information. And as always, I'll be bringing you up to speed with all of the news from your favourite island over the last week or so, updating you on the weather, and at the end I'll be giving you 3 things you could be doing if you're on the island over the next 7 days or so. So let's start off with the weather as we usually do. Last weekend was absolutely epic. It was just beautiful all day Saturday, all day Sunday. Very, very hot, beautiful blue skies. We moved into more traditional October weather through the week this week. And that means fairly cloudy mornings, but burning off by lunchtime to give us hot, sunny and very still afternoons. It's been one of those weeks where we've had, which is pretty unusual for Lanzarote, where we've had almost no wind all week. The sea has been an absolute flat calm all week, and it looks like we're going to have more of the same over the next 7 days or so. We've got cloudy mornings, hot, sunny afternoons, temperatures in the mid-20s falling only to the low 20s stroke high teens at night. So on with the news now, and there's a big NATO exercise going on in the Canary Islands at the moment. It's called Ocean Sky 25, and it brings together a lot of fighter aircraft from across the NATO countries and tankers from the NATO countries, and the fighter pilots are basically learning how to air refuel with aircraft provided by other nations within NATO. Now here on Lanzarote we've had 2 tankers. We've had a Spanish Air Force A330 and a Dutch A330 tanker as well, based on this island. They've been taking off pretty much every day this week. The fighters are based at the military airbase in Las Palmas at the moment. There's quite an interesting mix of aircraft, and they are appearing in our skies and landing at Lanzarote as well. So if you're on the island, you might get some great pictures. As I say, there's an interesting mix of aircraft. From Spain, we have F-18s, Eurofighters, and that A330 tanker. From Germany, we have Eurofighters. From Greece, F-16s. Portugal, F-16s, the United States, F-15Es, from India, Su-30 Mark 1s, and from the Netherlands, another A330 tanker. So lots of military activity going on at the moment. A couple of times this week we've heard fast jets, flying over the office, and we've gone rushing out to try and catch some photos, and we failed dismally. We haven't been quick enough, but there are some quite good photos online of those aircraft flying around the island this week. Now, work has started this week on the Belen, the nativity display in Yaitse. And for those of you who don't know, the Belenes, the nativity displays, are something that all the villages here on the island and pretty much across Spain do every Christmas. And they all try and outdo each other by producing a better Belen than they did the previous year and better than their neighbouring villages. Yaitse's is always really, really good. And this year theirs is going to be bigger than ever, which is why they've started work on it so early. I gather the display itself is going to be 400 square metres, and as I say, Yaitse, the people of Yaitse, have started work on that already. Personally, I can't wait to see it. Also worth noting for those of you who are here that the clocks go back this weekend. I mention it specifically because last year a lot of the English language press on the island really screwed up. They misread an article that appeared in some of the Spanish press, which they thought was saying that 2024 would be the last year where the clocks change. That wasn't the case, and witnessed the fact that the clocks are in fact going back this Sunday at 2 a.m. There is quite a strong move across Spain and also here in the Canaries to stop moving the clocks backwards and forwards because it really isn't necessary now, and it was something that was introduced years ago as a kind of energy saving measure. Certainly here in the Canaries it's completely unnecessary, and I know from lots of surveys of islanders that we would much rather have the lighter evenings than lighter mornings than we'll be moving to this weekend. In fact, there's quite a strong lobby here in the Canaries for us to move on to Spanish time, which would push us an hour forward from where we are throughout the year. So it's possible that over the next 12 months or so, we could not only lose the forward and backward thing of the summertime, but also move forward by an hour so that we match the rest of mainland Spain and most of Europe. But for now, nothing is changing, and the clocks are going back by 1 hour at 2 a.m. on Sunday morning, and I'll let you know when the clocks go forward again, if indeed they are going to next spring. The mayor of Teguise, Olivia Duque, has come in for some criticism this week, and locals have denounced the fact that the entrance statement for Costa Teguise, the white gates that were built by Cesar Manrique, that sort of announce your arrival into Costa Teguise from the north of the island, are in a very, very sorry state, and they are looking pretty rough. The walls on them are cracked. There are lovely gardens there which clearly haven't been getting enough water because they're looking very dry and on the point of death. The paintwork needs redoing, and just generally they don't look good, they don't look tatty. And citizens of Costa Teguise have denounced the mayor and the Ayuntamiento, the town hall staff, for not taking care of the white gates. I don't really know what's the matter with the governing party in Costa Teguise at the moment, because they just seem to be stuck in a sea of inertia and not really achieving anything. For example, we haven't had sunbeds or parasols on the main beach in Costa Teguise, Las Cucharas, since April, so 6 months, the busiest summer in the history of Lanzarote, and there have been no sunbeds on the beaches on the main beach in Costa Teguise. It really isn't good enough, and there's lots of other stuff that you know suggests that no one's really doing anything in the Ayuntamiento of Teguise. Onto a lighter and much more quirky story. This is really quite strange, but you probably know that it is against the law to take rocks or sand or anything that is of Lanzarote off the island. And in fact, it's amazing how many people get stopped at the airport each year carrying something of Lanzarote home with them. And there are some quite big fines for doing it, up to €3,000. But there's also a rumour that's been going around here for years that anyone who takes rocks from Timanfaya, from the Fire Mountains, will suffer terrible bad luck for the rest of their lives. Well, this story involves that rumour, and it's a German gentleman who took some rocks from Timanfaya a few years ago and suffered, in his words, terrible, terrible bad luck. He isn't specific about what happened, but ever since doing it, he's suffered from a great deal of bad luck. So he has now returned those rocks to the place that he took them from, and he hand wrote a letter to the National Park Authority apologising for taking them, saying he has now put them back, and he's hoping, he's got everything crossed, that his bad luck turns and he now has a period of good luck once again. As I say, a slightly quirky story, but quite an interesting one, and I thought I would share it with you. Now, just 3 news stories to go now. The first of those is that Lanzarote now has 5,160 companies registered at the end of September. That's an increase of 1.7% on the same period last year. 37% of those companies, as you would expect, are based in the capital, Arrecife, 21% in Tias, where Puerto del Carmen is, and 13% in Yaitza, where Playa Blanca is. And the penultimate story now, the Cabildo has now put out an official tender for companies to run a shuttle bus service from Mancha Blanca to Timanfaya. Now, if you've been following these news stories for some time, you will know that we've had big issues with queues at Timanfaya. And the aim behind this new idea is to offer a park and ride service basically to Timanfaya. So you'll be able to park your car in Mancha Blanca, where there is an absolutely massive car park, which is used as part of the Dolores celebrations every year. You'll be able to jump on a bus which will take you to Timanfaya and bring you back. later in the day after you've had your visit to the national park there. There's a few things that really aren't clear about this. The first is, will it be compulsory, or will you still be able to drive up to Timanfaya as you can now? The second is, is the bus shuttle service going to be free of charge? And the third is this going to run in conjunction with what the Cabildo have been talking about, which is a system whereby you will have to pre-book your tickets online and be given a time slot? Or does this work independently of that? I really don't know. So all we know is that this tender is for around 2.5 million. It includes the bus service, but it also includes more security people and more park rangers for the national park. The buses will run 365 days a year from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. That's all we know so far, but I will investigate the rest of it and get all of the detail and find it out and let you know when I've got it. And finally in the news, we have a new market in Arrecife, and this is at Marina Lanzarote, which is the big marina, of course, in Arrecife. And it runs every Friday morning. I don't know which stall holders, who's going to be there, what type of stalls there are going to be, but we will certainly be visiting that in the not too distant future to find out all about it for you. I think it's a good plan by the company that runs the marina, which is Calero Marinas. It's really been an issue, that marina. It's very successful as a yacht marina, which obviously is its primary role. Nearly all the berths are used and full, and the ship repair facilities are always in great use there. It's very successful as a nightlife venue, and Coppers, the sort of nightclub there, is particularly on the weekends, is open pretty much all night and is really, really busy with people out having a great time. Where the marina hasn't worked really is as a shopping stroke daytime venue, and apart from when the cruise ship visitors are there, it's pretty much a ghost town. So I think this is a move towards trying to attract more locals into the marina during the day, and it's starting with a Friday market, so we'll see how that goes. We've got our fingers crossed for them. So 3 things you could be doing on the island if you're here currently or you're arriving in the next day or so. And the first of these, and I think this may surprise you when these next words come out of my mouth, you can go and enjoy a cricket match here in Lanzarote. Now, the local Lanzarote cricket team arranges every year for touring teams from England to come over to Lanzarote and play a series of T20 and T30 matches with them. And they are going on currently. There are 4 matches coming up. In fact, the first of them was yesterday, if you're watching this on Saturday morning, the 24th of October. But the second is on the 26th of October, which is Sunday. So this coming Sunday, and it's a match, it's a T20 match against OBO Occasionals. I don't know who they are. Kicks off, that's probably the wrong phrase to use, isn't it? The first ball will be bowled at 10 a.m. And it takes place at the football ground in Puerto del Carmen. So if you fancy going to watch a cricket match, I think that'll be a cracking day out for someone. Now, next up, and you've got a nice span of time in which you can do this because it runs from the 30th of October until the 16th of November. And this is the annual Tinajo Bocata Tour. And I can't believe this is the 10th edition, so this has been running for 10 years. I remember the first one, in my head, it's still something fairly new to the island. But what happens with a Bocata tour is that all the little bars and restaurants in the villages of an area get together and they create a Bocata, which is I suppose the closest thing in English to it would be some sort of butty, some sort of sandwich type thing. I call it tapas. So in English, I would call this a tapas crawl. And it's an opportunity to go and visit 3, 4 or 5 little venues in the villages of Lanzarote and try their cuisine in the form of a bocata and whatever drink they choose to serve with it. And as I say, this is the 10th edition of it. And over the years, we've been to a few of these, and we've had some cracking dishes that have been knocked up by locals. Now, if you want to have a look for all the detail on this, we have an article on the main Lanzarote Information website. Go to lanzaroteinformation.co.uk. If you scroll down that homepage towards the content section, you'll see an article all about the Bocata tour, which Susanna has written, and it's got all the detail of who's doing what dishes and how much they are, and you know, all that kind of good stuff. It's just a great evening you can spend with friends at any time between the 30th of October and the 16th of November. And you also get the chance to vote for your favourite Bocata, and the restaurant that gets the most votes wins a substantial prize as well. And next up, and finally, on Friday the 31st, there is a pop-up market in Arrecife, and this is a Halloween-themed market. Now, I could find this kind of strange because when we first came here, and really for the first, 10 or 15 years we lived here, Halloween wasn't really a thing that happened in Spain. It just wasn't kind of celebrated. It was thought of as a very American thing. But in recent years, it has become more and more something that local children and adults get involved in. So this is, as I say, a Halloween-themed market, which is taking place in Arrecife on the 31st. It starts at 2 in the afternoon, and it runs all the way through till 11 at night. And it's called a Fiesta of Halloween. And it looks like a lot of fun. There are lots of raffles going on. There's a signature cocktail being produced. There are timple players there playing the little almost like ukulele type Canarian instruments, and there are going to be lots of stalls selling Halloween themed stuff in Arrecife. So that might be worth going along to, and perhaps enjoying the market and then going for something to eat at Charcos San Ginés in the capital. Well, that's it for this week. Thank you so much for watching once again. Just a quick reminder here for those of you who are booking your holidays with Jet2 holidays, with EasyJet holidays, with TUI holidays, remember that we can save you some money. We are a booking centre for all of those companies, and we can book your holiday with Jet2 holidays, with EasyJet holidays, with TUI for cheaper than you can do it online yourself. So it's exactly the same holiday, but we'll do it at less money for you. So do get in touch with me or with Julie if you would like us to give you a price that you can book your holiday with us at. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and if you've got any questions about anything I've talked about in this news bulletin or anything in general to do with Lanzarote, just put them in a comment below. I read all of the comments and I'll be happy to answer your questions. If you've enjoyed this video, please give us a like. Thank you once again for watching, and bye for now everyone. Bye.